Sometimes you learn these like random facts and they just kind of stick with you. And that's kind of what happened to me with this deep dive, which, by the way, was inspired by you. You sent in some research on fleas, like specifically dog fleas versus cat fleas. And trust me, it's way more interesting than it sounds.
Yeah, it might seem like one of those like who cares kind of things to study, like who's out there comparing how high fleas jump. But honestly, these little differences can actually tell us a lot about how these parasites survive and spread, which, as you can imagine, is pretty important in veterinary medicine.
Okay, so let's get into it. Our deep dive centers around a study from the École Nationale Vétérinaire in Toulouse, France. And you guessed it, they held a little flea jumping competition.
Well, not quite a competition, haha. But they did rigorously measure the jumping distances of hundreds of dog and cat fleas. Basically, they wanted to see if there was any difference in how far each type could jump, both horizontally and vertically.
Wow, the researchers really went above and beyond here. Imagine having to measure like hundreds of flea jumps. Talk about dedication. So, who came out on top? Were the cat fleas like secretly track and field stars?
Unfortunately, no, not quite. Turns out dog fleas are the real high jump champions of the flea world.
Really? Tell me more.
So the study found that dog fleas can jump horizontally up to 50 centimeters. That's almost 20 inches. While cat fleas could only manage about 48 centimeters.
Okay, so a difference of 2 centimeters. That doesn't sound like a huge difference in the grand scheme of things.
Right. In our world, 2 centimeters is nothing. But in the world of fleas, where like every millimeter counts, that's actually quite significant. It's like the difference between an Olympic athlete and someone who just goes for a jog now and then.
I can see where you're going with this. It's all about survival of the fittest, even in the flea world.
Exactly. And when it comes to vertical jumps, the difference is even more dramatic. Dog fleas can reach height of 25 centimeters, while cat fleas top out at just 17 centimeters.
Wow, they really put those cat fleas to shame. But why does this even matter? I mean, a flea is a flea, right?
That's where things get really interesting for those of us with pets at home. You see, a flea's jumping ability is directly related to its capacity to find new hosts.
So you're saying my dog's, like, superior jumping fleas are more likely to just kind of make a run, or a jump, I guess, for it and latch onto another unsuspecting pup at the park.
That's exactly what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Dog fleas, with their, Olympic-level jumping skills, have a much greater chance of hitching a ride on a passing dog. Even if they don't come into direct contact, they can leap from the grass, from furniture, you name it. Cat fleas, on the other hand, are a little more, shall we say, grounded.
This is starting to make a lot of sense. I've always wondered why it seems like dogs pick up fleas so much easier than cats do.
It's not just your imagination. There's actually a scientific reason behind it. And this is where that whole so what factor comes into play. Understanding these nuances of flea behavior, like their jumping prowess, can help vets and pet owners develop more effective flea control strategies.
So we're not just talking about fun flea facts here. This actually has real world implications. It's like know your enemy, right?
Precisely. For example, knowing that dog fleas can jump further means that area treatments are critical for dog owners. You can't just treat the dog. You got to treat the environment too. Got to catch those airborne acrobats.
That makes a lot of sense. I'll admit I've definitely been guilty of just focusing on the dog and not thinking about the environment as much.
It's a common mistake. But when you understand the science behind it, it's easier to see why those extra precautions are so important.
This has been incredibly eye-opening. Who knew there was so much to learn about fleas? And to think it all started with measuring how far they could jump. It really makes you wonder, what other little quirks and differences are hiding in plain sight in the animal kingdom? What if squirrels have these tiny territorial disputes that we never even noticed?
Now, that's a study I would like to see. But you're right, this flea research really highlights how there's always something new to discover about the creatures we share our world with, even the ones we might find a little annoying, like fleas.
Exactly. And sometimes these seemingly insignificant differences can have a big impact on how we understand and interact with the world. Who would have thought that a flea's jumping ability could teach us so much about protecting our pets?
Absolutely. So next time you see a tiny flea, don't just immediately reach for the insecticide. Take a moment to appreciate its incredible athleticism. Those little leaps and bounds are a testament to the power of adaptation and survival, even against challenges that, we might not even see.
I'm definitely going to look at fleas a little differently from now on. Thanks for taking this deep dive with me and for sharing all your insights.
My pleasure. It's always a joy to talk about the wonders of science, no matter how small.
And to our amazing listener who sent in this research, thank you for sparking such a fascinating conversation. Until next time, keep those minds curious. And remember, you never know where a deep dive might lead you.